It's the Book of Alpha-Ronomy, nigga. Read it or weep.
What's going on, my Alpha brethren? There is a story coming out of Alabama, Birmingham to be precise, about a pastor, a preacher, a minister, a bishop, whatever he is called by his blind flock, of him having a woman in his congregation take off her panties. This is a video now. Give her panties to him and replace them with some prayer panties that he gives her. Now these prayer panties look rubber or plastic, or you remember the rubber underwear that little kids used to wear way back in the day when they were transitioning from wearing Pampers to wearing regular underwear before the advent of pull-ups. This is what these look like. And his voice was weird, and he would say, "Oh Lord," when she finally got her pants to the ground. Man, that brother yelled out, "Oh Lord." Now we don't know if this woman is married or not. We have no idea what this one-on-one meeting with the pastor was about. It could have been about her husband. And now here she is in a room giving this man access to her body in a way that he should not have. Because as I always state, when you're talking about the church-going woman, her preacher, pastor, bishop, pimp, daddy, liaison to her savior is, in all actuality, her God. This story gets even better, homies. Let's chop it up. I mean, this video is pretty shocking. And it was posted by Willie D Live. You know, Willie D goes hard, man. So if you ain't vibing with Willie D Live, man, you should. You should, man. They pushed him off this platform, but you should really vibe with him, man, on IG. The video clearly shows this preacher, pimp, using his influence over this woman. She's coerced. Now, the woman is not going along with this at first. She's not going along with this at all. He is literally coercing her into doing this under the guise of doing what's right in order for him to be able to, quote unquote, help her with whatever problem she has. Now, whatever her problem is, she probably can't have children. She probably, who knows what her problem is, but there is an issue that she's having. And the crazy thing is, it was recorded. He probably recorded it on his own phone, man. He probably had to record it or let her record it in order to even do it, because the woman probably was very cautious about this entire scenario, if not downright scared. You have to understand, man, there are some women who try to be good that are in the church. The younger ones, they actually try to be good. They actually believe that there's a chance for them to be good. The older ones, 40s, 50s, they already know that it's not going to happen. So in the video, you hear the guy say, the lady asked the pastor, "Are you sure it's going to stop me from being a hoe?" So obviously she has a problem with sleeping around, which is just her nature. She has a problem with her nature. She wants to change her nature. Because that's what they stated in the Ariana Grande video. Once a thought, always a thought. He told her to trust the process. And at the end of the video, the last thing you hear him say is, "Now, you must allow me to pull them up." The prayer panties, that is. He let her take her own panties down to her thighs. And then he jumped in and said, "Now let me help you from here." And then he says to her, "Now, by me touching these prayer panties, and by me helping you put them on, this will help. So you just keep that in mind." And he grabs the prayer panties. Once she steps into them, he grabs them from her ankles and pulls them up on her body. If you have ever been in close proximity to a sexy young tender for intimate purposes, you know that the pulling off and pulling on of panties is one of the sexiest things you can do. It's one of the most arousing things I've ever done, man. To pull the panties off of a very sexy little thing, man. Pull them off. Pull them to the side. Pull a dress up. Anytime your hands are under a dress in an intimate way with the woman, man, it's a very arousing situation, man. So this man knew exactly what he was doing, but you have to ask yourself, what is it that makes her trust this man so much that she will allow him to not only convince her to take her panties off, which leaves her nude, bottomless, and allow him to pull panties up onto her? Now, the crazy thing is, as of now, we have no idea how old this woman is. Could very well be a young girl that's just old enough to drive. Could be 16, 17 years old, which in Alabama is over the legal age of consent. Yo, man, let me tell you something. These preachers, pastors, pimps, bishops, they are the top pimps in the world, because they do not have to get chosen on by women. They do not have to lure women in. Women just show up willingly. They show up with a smile on their faces, and they do whatever it is that the man wants them to do with a smile on their faces. And they hardly ever leave. Evidenced by the fact that Bishop Eddie Long, when he was caught up in his scandal, yes, his church numbers dropped, but he still had about 3,500 to 5,000 people showing up there even after the height of his scandal. They were still showing up. So you must understand, man, that if you are involved with a woman who goes to church, you are involved with a woman who loves, lusts, respects, appreciates, reveres not one other man, but two. Because though we've already talked about how she reveres her Savior, she also reveres that man who has presented himself as the liaison between her and her Savior. You cannot win with a church girl. And as alpha men, we do not play games that we can't win. We at least need to have a fair shot at winning the game. Sometimes we're really confident and cocky, egotistical, as we've been called, we'll take slightly lower odds than 50-50 and still come out on top. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. If you have anything to say about these jackleg preachers out here, if you have any experiences with the jackleg preacher, with a woman you know, your own woman, your parents, your mother, your aunts, whoever you know, or if you have a relative who is a jack. Hey, man, if you're a jackleg preacher yourself, comment down below and let us know, man. Just, how easy it is for you to get in the woman you want out of your congregation. Look forward to hearing what your men have to say. I'm out. Like this video on your way out if you enjoyed the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. When you subscribe, click that notification bell. Make sure your notifications are on so you can be alerted to when I upload some more of this real shit. And as always, alphas up, betas down. Peace.